Hi guys, it's Catie LeBlanc again for Tip of the Week. This is going to be part 2 of our foot. We talked about foot structure the last time, and this time we're going to talk about shoes and which shoes might be better fitted for different feet. First off, quick review. Our archetypes, you got a really flat foot, which myself, most of us will have, really high arch, and then a nice neutral arch, which is the ideal. Shoe types, depends on the person, depends on the sport. Soccer, their cleats, a lot of them want a really tight fit. Basketball probably wants a higher ankle, and tennis might want a different type of sole so that they don't slip on the clay or whatever surface they're playing on. So shoes are all pretty individual like us, and varieties of types, as you can see here. The big things to look for with a shoe, the main points are the toe box, the arch type, or the instep, and then you have the sole of the foot too. So for the basic standard everyday wear, I think a nice good neutral shoe, what you're looking for is a pretty standard toe box, something that isn't super narrow like you might see with a soccer cleat. You'll have a little bit of arching on the inside of the foot, which is good for those of us that have really flat feet. Kind of helps build up that arch a little bit. And if you see on a lot of sneakers too, there are different striations or different components to the sole of the shoe. Helps with shock absorption depending on what you're looking at. The other thing you also want to look at is the inner part of our shoe, which this one here has an orthotic because I have flat feet. So a nice standard orthotic. If you have questions about them, ask one of us because everybody's individualized. But those of us who need an orthotic, you'll see there's a little bit of an extra arch support there. A regular shoe insert is going to be, I probably can't get to it, but they're pretty flat and don't provide a lot of support there. Now there are different types of shoes. You have one that's got a little wider stance. If you look at the toe compared to the heel ratio, you want to have a little bit of a curve, almost hourglass type change to it. If it's really, really neutral, kind of like these Toms are, they're good for everyday shoes, but if you're trying to run or do something active, you probably want something that has a little more arch support. And then my personal favorite, of course, is going to be the sandal. The sandal provides no support for you, so if you have an injury and are wearing a sandal, you're probably not helping yourself out too much, especially if it's a lower extremity injury. The last part of shoes that I really like to look at is how much do they give, how much stretch do they have, how much flexibility. Standard shoes should have some give at the toe. You push off at your feet, you kind of need that extra flexibility. But the heel, not so much. So this is a pretty good shoe. If you try to fold it in half, it won't give all the way. If you look at our Tom, which, they're my favorite, but you really can fold it in half. A lot of flexibility, which is great for everyday wear, but if you're trying to be physically active, I probably wouldn't recommend a shoe that can fold in half. And this one is meant for like the baseball, softball types, as you can tell by the clay and the dirt. But same thing, good give at the toe, but the heel is really rigid. Once again, the sandal, yeah, not good for crutches or any type of injury.